Tonight, watching and waiting.
I am very worried about Iranian and also all the people in the world.
Tensions run high in Manitoba's Iranian community as a deadline for Donald Trump's ominous threats towards the Middle Eastern country draws near. Also tonight, on the hunt.
I've counted roughly, figured it's been 25 that they've ripped apart and killed.
Interlake farmers speak out about a growing issue, wolf attacks on livestock. What may be behind the onslaught? Plus, the gift of life.
Is this it? Is this where it ends for me? And I got lucky.
On this Green Shirt Day, one local man reflects on how another person's life-changing decision made all the difference.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. The U.S. president was vowing a whole civilization would die tonight if the Iranian regime didn't agree to his terms for a deal. But it now appears his deadline of 7 o'clock tonight has been extended by 2 weeks. Still, Trump's threat has many in our province on edge. Standing by with reaction tonight is CTV's Jeff Keel. Jeff, what are Iranians here saying?
They have mixed feelings. On one hand, they are concerned about the president's threats, but a ceasefire worries them too. Local Iranians are anxiously watching what happens in their home country as an ominous deadline approaches.
I am very worried about my family. I hope they are safe. U.S.
President Donald Trump has given the Iranian regime a deadline of 7 p.m. Central Tuesday to agree to a deal that includes reopening the Strait of Hormuz, or the U.S. will bomb civilian infrastructure targets like bridges and power plants.
We'll be out of business, burning, exploding.
Then on Truth Social, Trump went further. He wrote, "A whole civilization will die tonight." The statement has shaken Iranian-born Manitobans.
It is very scary to hear such words coming from a president of the United States, considering that we've been, for 47 years, we've been in war with our own government.
It will affect hospital, it will affect the people, and it will affect the chain of the food and other things in the country.
Trump's post comes after Iran rejected a ceasefire proposal, but some Iranians say they are torn on either outcome because if there is a ceasefire or an end to the war and Iran's leadership remains in place, it could embolden the regime.
They will revenge first from their people, and then they will again continue their terrorist act around the world.
If this regime stays in power, then they're going to annihilate Iranians. They've been doing that for 47 years.
And the Iranians we spoke to say it is extremely difficult to reach their loved ones while the regime blocks internet access. And we do want to reiterate, it does appear that deadline that was supposed to take place in about an hour's time has been extended by 2 weeks.
Yeah, that news breaking just within the last 20 minutes or so. All right, thanks for this, Jeff. As the spring melt takes place across the province, a new threat for farmers is emerging. Interlake farmers say an increase in the number of wolves is posing a real threat to their cattle herds. CTV's Joseph Bernacki looks into what's driving the numbers up.
Ross McMillan has farmed Holstein dairy cows for decades now. His farm is west of Warren, Manitoba. And among rising costs due to fuel and supplies, a new threat is looming, one on 4 legs.
We've never really had wolves around, but they showed up a few years ago and nobody thought much of it. But now they started killing these beef cattle. Figured it's been 25 that they've ripped apart and killed.
McMillan says wolves have killed at least 25 cows in the area. He's heard from neighbors and seen himself that they are appearing at all hours of the day, not just at night. He says his family got a scare last fall as they prepared cattle for sale.
We come back the next morning and here's one dead, had the throat ripped right out of it. Could see one wolf track, just one track. I didn't think one wolf could pull that cow down, but it did.
Jeff McMillan farms cattle just down the road from his dad. He believes the rising deer population and habitat loss due to wildfires last year have driven the wolves southbound to the Interlake. He says the predators are wreaking financial havoc as more cows are killed.
You take them at $4,000 an animal, they've cost farmers $80,000.
McMillan says it's difficult to get compensated for losses because the agency in charge, the Manitoba Agricultural Services Corporation, needs a full carcass to process a claim.
I know one guy that I think he lost 7 or 8 and he only found 3 or 4 carcasses, so he was personally owed about $16,000.
Chris Enright from Assiniboine Park Conservancy says Manitoba currently has a stable wolf population and the animal is very territorial. He says it is possible new packs could settle into the Interlake near livestock farmers should the deer populations remain strong as well.
They know where their food can be found, they know where the shelter is, but sometimes circumstances change, and this might be an example of something like that.
Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, near Warren, Manitoba.
Conservation officers are asking for your help finding those responsible for the illegal killing of a mother black bear last month. It happened on Road 6 East, just north of Balmoral, which is about 12 kilometers north of Stonewall between Road 86 North and Road 87 North. It's believed the bear was shot sometime between the evening of March 30th and early in the afternoon the following day. The killing left behind 3 young orphaned cubs. They've now been turned over to the black bear rescue in Stonewall. Owner Judy Stern says the 10-week-old cubs, 2 girls and a boy, are frightened and struggling to adjust.
It's still very hard on them. Like, you know, little bear cubs shouldn't be raised by humans. They should be out in the wild with their mother, and it's very hard on them mentally because they're so smart. And, you know, their eyes are looking left and right, and they're trying to figure all this out. And, yeah, they absorb everything, and they're struggling to settle in here.
Manitoba Conservation says the maximum penalty for this type of offense is a $10,000 fine and or 6 months imprisonment. Anyone with information is being asked to contact conservation officers or call the Turn-In Poachers tip line. Both of those numbers are up on your screen, and you do not need to give your name. A new housing project will bring 150 new homes to St. James.
This is a powerful example, though, of economic reconciliation in action.
The City of Winnipeg, federal government, province, and Shoal Lake 40 First Nation announced more than $51 million for the new development planned for 2675 Portage Avenue. Today, they did that, and it will see 150 apartment-style homes built on the site with a mix of 1 and 2, even 3-bedroom units. 61 of the units will be affordable, while the rest will be made available at fair market value. The project is wholly owned by Shoal Lake 40, whose lake water is Winnipeg's water source.
We are now coming to the city's aid again with this $48 million affordable housing development, providing a cost-effective housing solution to the city's critical housing shortage.
This is Shoal Lake 40's first housing development in Winnipeg, but it has plans for more projects following its completion. The cost of the project will be shared among the 4 levels of government, with the bulk being covered by the federal government's Affordable Housing Fund. In another funding announcement, the RM of Headingley's water reservoir and pumping station project is receiving $5 million from the federal government's Build Communities Strong Fund. It's expected to add water storage and pumping capacity to the existing system. This will support the development of more than 1,700 new housing units, including a proposed new subdivision. The City of Winnipeg's annual winter route parking ban was recently lifted, but it appears quite a few Winnipeggers did not take heed of parking signs. The city issued nearly 11,000 tickets. It also conducted around 7,500 tows. That's a big jump from last year, when the city issued about 8,700 tickets and 5,800 tows. The annual ban prohibits parking on designated streets anytime between 2 and 7 a.m. The winter route parking ban was in effect from December 3rd through to April 2nd. All right, let's bring Daniel Hamlerson in now and get a first look at your Skywatch evening forecast. Just in time for that ban to be lifted, you are tracking some snow headed our way.
We've been keeping an eye on an Alberta clipper rolling through the prairies all afternoon. Now, down in the southwest, there is a chance of some freezing rain as well, so keep in mind on that, folks. But we've been tracking this thing rolling through the prairies. Now, there are some weather alerts to pass along still. So the yellow warning, basically from border to border all the way into northwest Ontario. That is due to that Alberta clipper. Could bring up to 30 centimeters over the next couple of days to areas like Swan River, Dauphin, through the Interlake all the way to the border. Now, taking a look at Manitoba highways, I can see some snow-covered highways through those regions already. Now, in the south here, the gray area is a special weather statement. We could see 2 to 10 centimeters of snow in the south. I'll tell you when coming up, though, when we are expected to finally see some double-digit temperatures. Taking a look outside right now at the CTV Live Eye, around 0 here in Winnipeg, feeling a little closer to -8, but the wind gusting up to 53 kilometers per hour out of the south-southeast. The pressure dropping and the humidity sitting at 48%.
The CTV Live Eye is brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the PermaFit solution.
The City of Winnipeg's ground squirrel management program got underway today, but not before a handful of advocacy groups issued a last-minute appeal hoping to prevent a pair of controversial pest control products from being used. At issue are 2 products, Rosol poison bait and Rocon, a type of asphyxiant which is sprayed into holes. Animal Justice, the Winnipeg Humane Society, and University of Manitoba biology professor James Hare are appealing directly to the Environment Minister, asking him to suspend and ultimately revoke the permit the province issued, allowing the city to use them. The group says the products can cause prolonged suffering, particularly Rosol, which causes internal bleeding, and the risk of poison entering the food chain is too great. Hare, the professor, says he believes control is necessary and should be happening, but believes live trapping is a better course of action.
I do think it's highly feasible in the sense that they could be live trapped very readily with the same sort of staff you have employed, in dispersing these, rodenticides at the various sites. You could live trap them. You could transport them to a central location, have a veterinarian euthanize them as they're transported.
In a statement, a provincial spokesperson says, quote, both Rosol and Rocon are registered by Health Canada, which means they have undergone rigorous scientific evaluation to ensure they do not pose unacceptable risks when used as directed. Barring any successful appeals, the city will be using the product at the 9 parks listed on your screen. Signage will be posted 24 hours before and after treatment, and the sites will be monitored to make sure only ground squirrels are affected and their carcasses are quickly removed. It adds the 2 products have only been approved for this season, and an advisory committee is being formed to figure out what to do in the future. Today is Green Shirt Day, named in honor of Humboldt Broncos Logan Boulet. His organs were donated after a horrific bus crash. His gift of life saved 6 people and brought attention to organ donation nationwide. And as CTV's Harrison Shin shows you, one Headingley man is sharing his story after a double lung donation gave him a second chance at life.
Riding a bike without an oxygen tank is something Paul Mayer could not have thought of. Now it's a reality.
It was 7:22 a.m., the point you'll never forget, and you get that phone call, and it was an absolute shock. Oh my.
In January 2025, Mayer got what he called that precious gift of life. 8 years ago, he was diagnosed with pulmonary fibrosis, a terminal disease with no cure. He would die without a lung transplant.
I was fortunate enough that it did happen for me, unlike some others that I know that it didn't. They never got that call.
April 7th is Green Shirt Day, remembering Humboldt Broncos Logan Boulet. He passed away after a deadly crash on April 6, 2018, killed 15 others and injured 13. Boulet's parents, Toby and Bernadine, approved the donation of Logan's organs that saved 6 lives.
By being able to donate has made an impact on so many, and to want them to be registered donors and for them to have conversations. So it makes me really proud.
In many conditions, organ transplant is the only full cure, like kidney disease. It is either dialysis or a new kidney.
Kidneys are one of those organs where they can come from a deceased donor, but many people are living kidney donors, and people can live healthy, full lives and donate a kidney, and many do.
After the transplant, Mayer takes around 40 medications and vitamins, checks his vitals, and writes it down every day. But he says it is such a minor thing because, thanks to his donor, he was reborn.
It's the bravest thing you can do in your life. It's incredible. You've got that ability as like a doctor to change someone's life, and you have that ability within yourself.
Anyone who wishes to register for organ donation can head on to signupforlife.ca and register with their name, date of birth, and 9-digit health card number. Harrison Shin, CTV News, Winnipeg.
The cost of playing Lottomax is going up, although the increased price will come with a boost to your chances of winning. Starting Friday, the price of Lottomax tickets are rising from $5 to $6, but each ticket will now have 4 lines instead of 3. Plus, players will pick 7 numbers from 52 instead of 50. Experts say these changes should give players slightly better returns over time, which could balance out the higher ticket price. Turning to the markets now, crude oil added 54 cents. The loonie closed a little below 72 cents U.S. Gold futures were unchanged. The TSX gained 55 points. The Dow Jones lost 85 points, while the Nasdaq was up 21 points. As we told you earlier, U.S. President Donald Trump is pulling back on his threats to widen attacks in Iran to include bridges, power plants, and other civilian targets. But he also qualified that by saying this is subject to Iran agreeing to a 2-week ceasefire and reopening the Strait of Hormuz. In a post on his social media site less than an hour ago, Trump said Iran could agree to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz, and said he'd then suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. And just moments ago, we learned Iran's Supreme National Security Council has accepted a 2-week ceasefire. This, of course, is a developing story. We will have the very latest on this up on our website. Just go to ctvnews.ca. Meantime, the Prime Minister went even further today than he's gone before, suggesting Ottawa might help if the price of gas doesn't go down. CTV's Rachel Aiello on what Mark Carney said about help coming for consumers.
Aware Canadians are grappling with sky-high fuel prices and amid uncertainty over how long the war in Iran may last, the Prime Minister said his government is looking at ways to help. As oil prices surged today, Prime Minister Mark Carney opened the door to giving Canadians a break.
The question becomes, and this is what the government's focused on, is how long is this going to persist? And what can we do to help cushion the blow for Canadians? And that's something we're looking at.
Carney said he knows Canadians are asking themselves every time they fill their tanks or heat their homes why they're paying for the cost of a war this country isn't part of.
And the short answer is because there's a global market.
Though the fact other nations are facing similar price hikes may be cold comfort to Canadian consumers. Considering offering some relief now comes on the heels of Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre calling for federal gas taxes to be scrapped, and ahead of the spring economic update, which would be the time for Carney to unveil any new affordability measures. Other countries have already cut fuel taxes. Carney today, though, stopped short of offering any specifics on what kind of help could be coming or when. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
The U.S. Trade Representative says issues with Mexico and Canada are unlikely to be resolved before the CUSMA deadline of July 1st.
We want to resolve as much as we can. We've worked really closely with the Mexicans over the past year. They've resolved a lot of issues. The Canadians, we have some issues with them that haven't been resolved yet.
Greer was speaking at an event put on by a Washington think tank. On July 1st, the 3 countries need to say whether they want to renew the agreement, withdraw from it, or continue negotiations. 9 workers of a Canadian mining company in Mexico are dead. The 9 killed were among 10 workers kidnapped by a cartel in the Mexican state of Sinaloa back in January. The search continues for a 10th missing worker. None of the workers were Canadian nationals. The kidnappings prompted protests in the streets, with people demanding justice and better security. Attackers opened fire near the Israeli consulate in Istanbul, triggering a deadly gun battle. One attacker was killed, and authorities say 2 others were, quote, neutralized. 2 police officers were wounded. Israel has condemned the attack and is thanking Turkish forces for their swift action. Turkey's foreign minister says at least one of the attackers is linked to a group he said was exploiting religion, but did not name the organization. 3 people are critically hurt and 1 is missing after scaffolding collapsed at a steelworks in Japan. Local media reports the 40-meter-high scaffolding fell during the dismantling of a crane in a city located about 20 kilometers from Tokyo. It's not clear how it happened. Local authorities are investigating. Some international headlines are raising eyebrows in Newfoundland and Labrador. Both People magazine and the BBC described the province as a freezing Canadian island. Granted, it's been a cold winter, but those comments are not sitting right with residents. CTV's Garrett Barry explains.
A story of heroism the likes the world has never seen.
A headline so worthy of parody, Keith Muse says he just couldn't leave it alone.
That was stranded on a lifeless, frozen tundra island.
When the BBC and People magazine wrote of one flight's air travel nightmares, they called Newfoundland a freezing Canadian island.
In a city of mere hundreds of thousands, 200,000.
That description didn't quite sit just right with some people in this province who are kind of famous for bringing people in when flights are grounded. The musical Come From Away about the grounded flights after the 9/11 attacks helped catapult central Newfoundland to Broadway fame.
I just don't want to hear anybody badmouthing Newfoundland. You know, you don't get stranded here. You can't get stranded in the best province in the country, as far as I'm concerned.
The British Airways flight from London was grounded for 2 days in St. John's, first for a medical emergency and then for what staff called a temporary technical issue. All the while, they didn't have access to their bags.
We are used to this, and the staff are used to getting called in the middle of the night to come and help, and they're very dedicated.
Heather McKinnon and her team at the Delta Hotel took in most of those passengers during their delay. She says hotel staff made extra runs to Shoppers or Walmart to help passengers while their bags were stuck on board.
Some were traveling for funerals, some were traveling for weddings, so that was a little frustrating, but they kept in good humor.
But that headline, the freezing Canadian island, it caught the attention of this province's tourism minister, who wrote to People magazine today, complaining the headline diminished Newfoundland and Labrador. Garrett Barry, CTV News, St. John's.
We're feeling it a little bit, but we're concerned about what's to come.
Up next, we take a closer look at which sectors are being hit the hardest by rising oil prices and how long it might take for a reprieve.
And we'll finally see some double-digit temperatures this weekend. I'll have your complete Skywatch evening forecast after the break.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
The Winnipeg Jets had more than one reason to celebrate during last night's 6-2 win over Seattle.
Deeper in the zone, Shifley. Connor, it deflects in. It'll be 900 points for Mark Shifley and a power play goal.
You heard that right. Veteran center Mark Shifley notched his 900th career NHL point, and it came, as one might expect, setting up his longtime line mate Kyle Connor. The pair would connect again in the third period for Connor's second goal and Shifley's third assist of the game.
You know, it means a lot. It's, you know, obviously, you know, very honored and humbled by it. So, you know, it's pretty cool to think about. It'll probably take a little bit to sink in, but obviously it's you know, very cool.
He's determined, he's driven, and you know, he wants to have, you know, team success, and then with the team success comes individual success, and that partnership with KC certainly helps that. But he's a guy that I think you see a lot of guys in the league that are older that are still real good players, and that's because they're such good athletes now is probably the biggest thing.
33-year-old Shifley has spent his entire career in Winnipeg after becoming the first ever draft pick by the Jets 2.0, selected 7th overall in the 2011 NHL draft. He already has the most points in franchise history and is also the leader in games played at 956. Manitobans are very familiar with snow and ice, but you might do a double take if you look at one very strange ice formation that was discovered in Winnipeg. Take a look. Yeah, Different, right? This ice formation was found north of Winnipeg on Pipeline Road by a CTV viewer. He tells us he's never seen anything like it, so we wondered what could have caused this ice to form this way. An ice scientist at the University of Manitoba says he doesn't ever remember seeing ice like this before either. However, he did say what could have happened here was that some very thin pieces of new ice formed on the pond, and then that new ice was disturbed somehow. It broke apart, and then all that was left over was compressed against each other.
What's really interesting about this is that these sheets are so thin, they're not crumbling, and they're sticking up almost completely vertically. I would have expected, you can see if you look a little past these sails on top of the ice, there's areas where the ice has overlapped with other pieces of ice, so that's called rafting. So clearly rafting process is happening here, but it's unclear why in this particular area the pieces didn't just raft up on top of each other, but instead they got forced straight vertically.
David Babb tells CTV the wind was key, but it couldn't have been too strong or that ice would have simply broken.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
All right, Daniel Helmerson is back now with your complete Skywatch forecast. And I was telling Danny during the commercial break, if you've been on social media, you might have seen the meme going around that says, if the weather can't be nice for more than 2 days, neither can I. I feel like a lot of us are getting to that point, Danny. But there is an end in sight, right?
Absolutely. First off, shout out to Andy, who sent those wonderful pictures, that video in yesterday. It was the talk of the newsroom late yesterday afternoon. So thanks again for sending those in. And at least we got a little bit of explanation of that ice. As for ice today, we could see some in the southwest right now with some freezing rain rolling through the Melita area. The rest of the province, though, most of it is under that yellow warning from Environment Canada as an Alberta clipper rolls through the prairies. Now, areas like Swan River, Dauphin, likely already seeing some snow out there, checking those highway cameras. There are some covered highways, no closures to tell you about, but it's slowly moving into Manitoba. Here in Winnipeg, we'll likely see up to 5 centimeters overnight as it moves through. North of us, we'll see the brunt of it. South of us, down in Steinbach, Morden, Winkler, may see a couple centimeters, a chance of some freezing rain in those areas as well. As we move into Wednesday, also northwest Ontario will see some of that snow too. Kenora and Dryden up to 15 centimeters in those areas. Dauphin, Swan River, as I mentioned, could see up to 30 centimeters over the course of the 2 days. Now, will that last with temperatures getting slightly warmer? That remains to be seen. But as we move into Wednesday evening, more snow expected in northwest Ontario, a chance of some freezing rain in some of those areas as well. Now, Thursday down here in the south, remaining fairly clear. Up north, could see a few scattered flurries here and there as we slowly make our way through into the weekend. Here in Winnipeg tonight, -1, warming up overnight, periods of snow with the wind out at the southeast at 20. Waking up tomorrow to around 2 degrees. Again, periods of snow, that wind shifting slightly. And in the afternoon, much of the same, 2 degrees, mix of snow and rain, wind out of the northwest. And a look around the province tonight, -9 in Island Lake, chance of some snow there. -21 up in Churchill. Thompson getting up to 0 tomorrow with mainly sunny skies. Island Lake could see some mixed precipitation as well in the northwest. -9 in Norway House, -9 down in the Paw as well. Could see some snow there up in Lynn Lake tomorrow. 0 and sunny. To our west out in Brandon surrounding area, -2 there tonight, chance of that freezing rain. Swan River and Dauphin, as I mentioned, will likely get the heaviest amounts of snow. Here in Winnipeg and the surrounding area, fairly similar temperatures are hovering around 0 tonight, and snow, sleet, rain, what have you tomorrow. And just over the border in Ontario, Kenora and Dryden could see a fair amount of snow. Fort Frances, though, may see a little bit tomorrow with a high of +5. And our first Skywatch pick of the day, this one comes from Tina, just about an hour south of Thompson, a really cool ice formation there. And our second one is out on Cross Lake from Michaela. Now, if you look closely, there are 5 different eagles in that photo. Very, very cool. Keep those pictures coming to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
The economic effect of the Iran war has resulted in the biggest oil supply disruption on record. We are seeing a spike in gasoline prices, chip and fertilizer supplies are threatened, and pharma shipments are stalled. CTV's Heather Wright reports.
English cheddars, French bries, provolone from Quebec. Good Cheese in downtown Toronto stocks products from around the world and is among the many grappling with the impacts of international events.
The first thing that you're going to notice is the price of shipping is going up. So that's definitely really, we're feeling the pinch on that.
Not only are shipping costs up, owner Luke Champion says so too are the prices of many cheeses he sells from both international and domestic suppliers. Champion is absorbing as much as he can, but worries about the unknown.
We're feeling it a little bit, but we're concerned about what's to come.
Businesses, households, grocers, and airlines are all feeling the impact of the war in Iran, now in its 6th week. The average price of regular gas in Canada is up 51 cents a litre since February 28th. Diesel has climbed an average of 74 cents a litre, while jet fuel has surged $1.05 a litre. And many companies have already begun passing these prices along to the consumer. Air Canada Vacations has started implementing a $50 per passenger fee on some destinations, while WestJet will add a $60 fuel surcharge to all bookings made using vouchers from its MasterCard loyalty program. While Amazon will charge sellers a 3.5% fuel surcharge on deliveries beginning April 17th.
Energy, oil is embedded in everything that we have in the modern economy.
Andre Sura is an operations management professor at the University of Toronto and predicts high prices will be here for many months, even if the war ends soon.
I would say that the only certainty that we have is that it's going to take a long time until the prices, they really stabilize.
While inflation eased in February, experts are expecting a significant increase to the March numbers and say the longer this war lasts, the harder it is going to be for consumers. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
It is absolutely spectacular.
They're not just sending data back. The crew of Artemis 2 has captured some breathtaking images of the moon. We'll have that story when we return.
Get Winnipeg's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
From space, new photos of the far side of the moon. Images never before seen by any human. They were taken by the astronauts who flew around the moon yesterday. Rena Roy reports.
Breathtaking new images straight from outer space, giving us a fresh look at the moon and Earth. The Artemis 2 crew snapping these shots from their historic lunar flyby on Monday as they ventured deeper into space than any human in history. The 4 astronauts slingshotting around the moon on Monday, getting a good look at its far side. You can see their view of an Earth set from behind the moon, and this one shows the moon fully eclipsing the sun. The sun's corona creating a glowing halo around the moon's edge. The crew wearing eclipse glasses as they took in their very own solar eclipse.
Indescribable. No matter how long we look at this, our brains are not processing this image in front of us. It is absolutely spectacular.
An emotional moment for both the crew and NASA Mission Control back home on Earth.
Today, for all humanity, you're pushing beyond that frontier.
One image shows a crater that's impossible to see from Earth. Another shows a basin on the moon's surface with a black patch of ancient lava from an eruption billions of years ago. This afternoon, the crew woken up for their journey home by Mission Control.
The crew was woken up aboard their Integrity spacecraft, marking the start of Flight Day 7 activities.
The crew then having a debrief with the teams on the ground about their observations.
The angle, the sun to the moon didn't change much, but we moved to the side, so we were seeing a different angle, and the color was less apparent.
The space capsule now out of the lunar sphere of influence and returning to Earth's gravitational pull. The journey home will take them several days. The Orion space capsule expected to splash down off the coast of San Diego on Friday after this historic 10-day journey. Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Doctors are urging caution as women navigating menopause are increasingly targeted by aggressive marketing for unproven products. Experts say symptoms like hot flashes, sleep disruption, and mood changes are driving demand for solutions. But many advertised remedies lack solid evidence. Physicians in the U.S. report more patients arriving after trying products that were ineffective or caused side effects.
We're part of a very vulnerable population, right? That and when a million things get thrown at you, it sounds cool to try. And then I feel like once you try one, then all the ads keep coming and I don't know how to stop it. But I think if you have questions, talk to your doctor.
They advise women to consult health professionals and prioritize evidence-based treatments before spending money on heavily marketed options. Many people don't really understand food expiration dates, and what we don't know can lead to food waste. Mandy Gaither explains.
You can find them on granola bags, cereal boxes, and a whole host of products in your pantry. But how much weight do you put into food expiration dates?
It's ideal to know when that food is going to be best utilized by. Now, that's where it gets a little tricky. So that's just an estimate.
Registered dietitian Julia Zumpano with Cleveland Clinic says there are 3 kinds of food expiration dates. One is sell by, that tells the store how long they should display the item for sale. Then there's best by, or best if used by, which is when the product will have its best flavor and quality. Finally, we have used by, the last recommended day for the product to maintain peak quality.
Shelf-stable items are usually the ones that can exceed their dates. So looking at things like dried goods, like rice and pasta and cereal, canned fruits and vegetables, beans, things like that, usually are pretty safe.
Zumpano says to pay closer attention to expiration dates printed on perishable foods in the fridge, like meat and dairy. That's where bacteria and mold are more likely to grow. She says to always use your senses. If you see mold, sliminess, or the color is off, toss it. If it smells off, sour, or moldy, throw it out. And if something doesn't taste right, get rid of it.
If it is past that date, using those senses, or, if you feel better just tossing it, you can. But the goal here is to reduce food waste.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
A U.S. federal judge has dismissed a proposed class action lawsuit accusing the maker of Stanley mugs of concealing lead in its tumblers. The judge said consumers don't demonstrate a specific and plausible risk of harm. The colorful tumblers became popular thanks to social media influencers. Litigation began after reports of possible lead contamination went viral in 2024. The manufacturer has acknowledged a small quantity of lead is used, but says it's not accessible to consumers. Researchers in Mexico have developed a robotic arm they say is easier than ever to use. This is the E-Ready arm. It was made by scientists at the University of Guadalajara. They say the arm reduces the complexity, which often leads patients to ditch their prosthetic devices. E-Ready uses muscle sensors in the socket, which allows users to train their brains to operate the limb through neuroplasticity. Future versions will also include a Bluetooth-enabled microphone to allow for even more complex hand movements.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manuke and Coster Denture Clinic.
This town put a red sunset in the windshield.
Country, rap, or punk, no matter your musical preference, the summer concert announcements just keep coming. We're going to break it all down for you next in Spotlight.
Spotlight sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Andre-Philippe Gagnon.
Well, get ready to laugh, folks. The Great Outdoors Comedy Festival has announced its Winnipeg headliners, and some big names will be taking the stage at Assiniboine Park.
I'm 6'3", I'm 140 pounds. I have a problem with wind. My friend's like, you want to go out? I'm like, you got to check the forecast first. I might lose a friend.
SNL alum Pete Davidson and Emmy-winning comedian Aziz Ansari will be performing Saturday night sets this summer. They will be joined by special guests Jordan Jensen and Robbie Hoffman. Jim Gaffigan will kick off the event Friday with viral content creator John Christ and comic Ryan Hamilton. And Matt Rife will close out the festival on Sunday. The festival runs from July 17th through the 19th. Individual show tickets go on sale Friday at 10 a.m. And a ton of concert announcements to tell you about. A legendary local punk band is returning to the stage here in Winnipeg this fall. Propaganda is set to play an all-ages show at the Burton Cummings Theatre September 6th. The politically charged punks from Portage la Prairie will be joined by Ontario's The Flatliners. Tickets go on sale Friday through burtoncummingstheatre.ca, but 150 tickets will also be available starting a day earlier at Into the Music in the Exchange. And now you've got a chance to see a famous rapper live in the Peg this summer. Grammy Award winner Chance the Rapper is bringing his unique brand of hip-hop to Canada Life Centre. The show will feature music from his latest album, Starline, as well as hits like No Problem and Cocoa Butter Kisses. You can see Chance in action July 13th at 7:30 p.m. Tickets go on sale Friday through Ticketmaster. And the old dirt roads are leading right to Winnipeg this fall for a Canadian country music star. Owen Riegling will follow the taillights to the Burton Cummings Theatre on Tuesday, October 27th. The award-winning singer-songwriter is best known for his songs Old Dirt Roads, Taillight This Town, and Moonshines. Tickets go on sale, you guessed it, Friday through Ticketmaster. And a reluctant advice columnist learns how to turn her personal experiences into empathy and guidance in an upcoming performance at the Prairie Theatre Exchange.
Thank you for your strange offer. I'm trying to finish a book. My husband is an artist. We have 2 kids and 10 mountains of debt.
Tiny Beautiful Things is the stage adaptation of the New York Times bestseller of the same name by Cheryl Strayed. It's based on her actual experiences as an anonymous online advice columnist and explores themes of empathy, humanity, grief, and vulnerability.
Like the impression that she had on people must have been just incredible, that people in such desperate straits would turn to her for help. You know, it really is a testament to how much people loved and trusted what she might say.
Tiny Beautiful Things debuts this evening and runs to the 19th. Just head to pte.mb.ca for tickets. And coming up on your primetime lineup today, catch Will Trent at 7, High Potential is on at 8, RJ Decker starts at 9, and Best Medicine wraps things up at 10. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
They have wonders, curiosities, and questions that they want answered.
A look at some of the wild and wonderful projects on display at the annual Winnipeg Schools Science Fair. That's next.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
Well, we got up to around 0 today, which is still well below seasonal average temperatures for this time of year. But taking a look at our 7-day forecast, light snow tonight, that mix of snow and rain tomorrow. But on the weekend, getting all the way up to 10 on Saturday, mainly sunny, and even a little warmer on Sunday, but a chance of some showers.
Thanks, Danny. Cheese coagulation, artificial intelligence, and drone aerodynamics. Those were just some of the topics taking center stage at a day of discovery in the Winnipeg School Division.
So this is a standard 3D printed wig compared to my version that I designed.
The 56th annual Winnipeg Schools Science Fair gives the division's grades 7 to 12 students a chance to wow the judges with their work. It's one of the biggest science fairs held by the division to date. More than 153 projects highlight research in a range of fields, including health, environment, technology, and Indigenous knowledge.
I think they're seeing things that are happening exciting in our world, and they want to know more about those things. They have wonders, curiosities, and questions that they want answered, and they want to find those answers so that we can support all mankind.
Cash prizes and a new Community Changemaker Award scholarship will be handed out tonight. The best projects will then move on to the Canada-wide Science Fair, which is being held next month in Edmonton. Good luck to all those moving on.
Yeah.
It is. Were you big into science fairs?
I think I got like a silver once for a computer my dad helped me build.
I was going to say, my dad did all my science fair projects. Journalists typically aren't always strong in science.
No.
I was in a book reading, fiction or something. All right, have a great night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.